Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aubrey and I'm so happy to have you all here with me today. So I actually have a book haul for you guys today. We're going to go through all of the books that I acquired in the month of July. And I do want to start actually with some books that I got actually a few weeks ago before July. I got this box set for free at a yard sale that my neighbors were having. And when I got it home, I was checking through it as I do whenever I get used books, and I did find a dead silverfish in the box, unfortunately. So I put the whole box, I checked to make sure there weren't any in there that were alive and needed to go outside, but I didn't find any, but I still put the whole box in the freezer for several weeks, just to make sure that everything was safe. But now I've taken them out, so I did want to show these to you guys. So it is a complete box set of the Anne of Green Gables series by L.M. Montgomery. So, show you guys the box. And I'll show you each of the books. I'll only read the synopsis for the first one just to avoid spoilers. Okay, so here is the first book, Anne of Green Gables, and I'll go ahead and read the synopsis and then we'll look at the others in the series. As soon as Anne Shirley arrives at the snug white farmhouse called Green Gables, she is sure she wants to stay forever. But will the Cuthberts send her back to the orphanage? Anne knows she's not what they expected, a skinny girl with fiery red hair and a temper to match. If only she can convince them to let her stay, she'll try very hard not to keep rushing headlong into scrapes and blurting out the first thing that comes to her mind. Anne is not like anybody else, the Cuthberts agree. She is special, a girl with an enormous imagination. This orphan girl dreams of the day when she can call herself Anne of Green Gables. And this is the collector's edition set for each of these paperbacks, so it's got the unabridged text, and then a little mini biography of the author, and then a map of Prince Edward Island, which is where the story takes place. So Anne of Green Gables is a classic. I have never actually read it before. I have experienced the story, but I've never actually, well, I may have read the first book when I was a kid. I can't remember, but I know I never continued the series if I did read the first one. So I'm very excited to be able to, because I know that it's a very, very cozy series to read. And this is the second book, Anne of Avonlea, or maybe it's Avonlea. But I am really excited to read this series now that I have it. Anne of the Island, Anne of Windy Poplars, Anne's House of Dreams, Anne of Ingleside, Rainbow Valley, and the last book in the series is Rilla of Ingleside. So I believe maybe this is Anne's daughter, I'm assuming. But yeah, I've heard that this series is just really, really cozy, and I do know some about the character of Anne, and I'm really excited to read it. It's going to be a good series, I think, to read like in the spring and summer. And it's also really nice to be able to get the whole set for free. That's just incredible. So I'm really excited to have these. Alright, so now let's get into the books that I actually got during the month of July. So as always, we're going to go through them based on where I got them from. And the first one that I have to show you guys is actually from a Kickstarter. So this is Secrets of Black Floren Hall by Cassandra Clare. This is part of the Shadowhunters universe. And this, there's not like a synopsis on the book, but from what I understand, it is a collection of short stories about different characters in the series. And it does have really pretty foiling on the naked hardback, and the back is the same as the front, as well as very pretty end papers. And it is illustrated. I'm not sure. It's got like different illustrations. Some of them look like Polaroid pictures. Some of them are like book pages, and then there are just some regular colored illustrations in it. But from what I understand, this was published previously. I'm not sure if it was published digitally or if there was a physical print of it, but they did a Kickstarter where you could get special editions of this book and then several others that they're shipping out throughout the next year. So this was the first one to come in, and it did come with some extra goodies. So I will get those out. So first we have a little sticker. It's really, really shiny, so I'm sorry if it reflects oddly with the lamp, but it's of Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood. Then we have a sticker with some kitty cats, and I'm not familiar with all of these characters. I did watch the Shadowhunters TV show when I was younger, and I've read only one Shadowhunters book, which is Clockwork Angel, which is the first book in a later series. Like, it's not even the first series in this universe. I did not know that at the time when I bought the book when I was younger. But now I would really like to actually go through and read all of the Shadowhunters books in publication order. So when I saw this Kickstarter, I had to back it, but I'm not familiar with all of these characters, so I apologize to any Shadowhunters fans who are watching this. So we have this sticker, some people on there, I'm not sure who they're supposed to be. And then we have 3 little Polaroid illustrations, all featuring the same characters. Again, I'm not sure who they are, but here is the first one. The second one, and the third one. And then it also came with this cute little pamphlet that says, "So Your House is Cursed, a Guide for the Perplexed." And it says it's brought to you by the Council for Mundane Outreach. And it's essentially like a little guide about what to do if your house has been cursed, how to figure out who's cursed it, what does it mean, that sort of thing. It's very cute little touch. And then it also came with a journal. But it is a bullet journal, so it is blank. You can write in it. But it does actually have illustrations throughout it. So I'll just show you this one. But it does have a number of different illustrations throughout the journal, which is really, really cool. I think that was a really neat touch to include, of different characters throughout the various Shadowhunters books and series. Alright, and then I got one book from Barnes & Noble this last month, and that was a pre-order that I had ordered for months at this point. But that is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of The Book of Bill. So this is a Gravity Falls book. If you're not familiar with Gravity Falls, it is an animated TV show that follows twins Dipper and Mabel, who are 12 years old, and they go to spend the summer with their great uncle Stan in Gravity Falls, Oregon, where weird things start to happen. I love Gravity Falls so much. It is such a good TV show, and Bill Cipher is a very disturbing character in the show. It is a show for children, so the show is very much like, I mean, it has a bunch of odd things that happen, but it's definitely not horror, although Bill is definitely like horror leaning. And this particular book is all about Bill Cipher, and this one is not made for children. I did flip through some of this. It is most certainly not for kids. This is for the adult fans of the show. And the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition does have extra content in it, which is so exciting. So it also has a different color scheme. I think the original book, the original cover, Bill is red, but I can show you. The naked hardcover is also really pretty. And this paper is like textured on the cover. I'm not really sure how to describe how it feels. It feels really rough and kind of old, which is interesting. But there is the naked hardcover, and it has the symbol. If you're a fan of the show, you know what that is. But yeah, I'm really excited to read through all of this, although like I said, some of the content in here is definitely on the disturbing side. So if you get creeped out easily or like weirded out or grossed out, just be aware of that. But if you're a Gravity Falls fan, I definitely recommend this. I'm so excited to have it. And to get a glimpse into the mind of my favorite evil triangle guy. Then I got a few books from Books A Million in July. The first one is Miss Percy's Pocket Guide to the Care and Feeding of British Dragons. This is the first book in a Miss Percy guide, I think is the name of the series, by Quimby Olson. Miss Mildred Percy inherits a dragon. Ah, but we've already got ahead of ourselves. Miss Mildred Percy is a spinster. She does not dance. She has long stopped dreaming, and she certainly does not have adventures. That is, until her great-uncle has the audacity to leave her an inheritance, one that includes a dragon's egg. The egg, as eggs are wont to do, decides to hatch, and Miss Mildred Percy is suddenly thrust out of the role of spinster and general wallflower and into the unprecedented position of spinster and keeper of dragons. But England has not seen a dragon since, well, ever. And now Mildred must contend with raising a dragon that should not exist, kindling a romance with a humble vicar, and embarking on an adventure she never thought could be hers for the taking. It sounds so good. Oh my gosh, it sounds so cute. So if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I love dragons. And this book, we have this little baby dragon and this character who just finds herself to be its caretaker. And thrust into an adventure she didn't expect. There's going to be a cute romance. I'm so excited. And the series is a trilogy, I believe. I know the second book is already out. I'm not sure if the third one is out at this point or is coming out soon. But I'm really excited to try this. It is an indie published series, and I've just heard so many people talk about how cozy and wonderful it is. And so I had to get it. Because I love dragons, I love cozy fantasy, and this just sounds like it's going to be delightful. Then the next book I got, I have already read, and that is The Adventure Zone, The Suffering Game. So this is the 6th graphic novel based on the Adventure Zone podcast. It is by Clint Griffin, Justin, and Travis McElroy, and illustrated by Carrie Peach. This is the Books A Million exclusive, which just means it has like an extra poster at the back, which is still pretty cool. I love The Adventure Zone so much. It is my favorite podcast, or one of my favorite podcasts of all time. And the Balance Arc, which is the first campaign that they're doing. So The Adventure Zone is a Dungeons and Dragons podcast where Griffin, Justin, and Travis, who are brothers, and their dad Clint, all play Dungeons and Dragons together. And the Balance Arc is the first campaign that they do on the podcast, and it is my favorite. And I am loving these graphic novel interpretations of the series, or adaptations of the series. They are so wonderful and weird and whimsical. I will say the humor can be quite crude, and they do use some bad language, so do be aware this is not necessarily meant for kids. But I love this series so much. And if you've never heard of the Adventure Zone before, essentially, we have Griffin, who is the DM, and our 3 heroes, Merle Highchurch, Taco, and Magnus Burnsides, played by Clint, Justin, and Travis McElroy, respectively. And in the first episode of the podcast, and also the first graphic novel, they take a job to help Merle's cousin, I think it is, go and find a treasure. So, basically acting as bodyguards, trying to protect him, help him find this treasure, and then things spiral out of control very rapidly because this treasure contains this very dangerous artifact in it. And that's really all I want to say because that's all I knew going in, but I just love it so much. It's so wonderful, and this is the second to last book in the series, so the next one that hopefully will come out next year will be the final book in the series, the conclusion to the story. And I'm going to be really sad, but also I'm just really excited, and this one, just as the first 5 did, was a delight, was wonderful to read, was just very, very fun, and I had a great time reading it. Then I got the first book in a manhwa series, so I say that tentatively because from what I understand from what someone else has said, KK-chan is a girl. She does a lot of manga content on her channel. She mentioned that online, the digital version of this story has more content that goes beyond this volume. However, this volume does not have a volume 1, so it's kind of uncertain whether they will be publishing more in the series. I hope that they do. But that is Day Off by Daily Greens. So as I said, this was originally published online, and it has been now given a physical format by Aloha Comics, who has been doing some manhwa publications recently. This is actually the last one that I needed of the titles that they've picked up. So I think the synopsis is very short. It's just on the back. It says, I'm head over heels for him. A sweet and entertaining romance story of a resolute yet affectionate boss and his cute and light-hearted subordinate. Love, with its joys and hassles, can turn even the most boring office work into an exciting romantic adventure. So it is an office romance between these two characters, and I've just heard that it's very, very cute and very fun to read, so I'm excited to check it out. And then the next book that I got is book 2 of Guardian, or Junhwan, by Priest. This is a Donmei that I started earlier this year, so I have read book number 1. And book number 3 is coming out later this year, so I am going to wait for that one to come out so that I can read books 2 and 3 together. But I went ahead and ordered this because I wanted to make sure that I had it here and it was ready for whenever book 3 arrives and I'm able to continue this series. So since this is the second book, I'm not going to read the synopsis. I'm just going to give a brief synopsis for the first one. So essentially, Guardian follows Zhao Yunlan, who works for, I can't remember the name of the organization he works for, but it's essentially an investigative police-style organization in China, but they actually investigate supernatural incidents. And Zhao Yunlan is the director. He is the head of this organization, and he finds himself one day being on this case and meeting this teacher named Shen Wei. Yes, I was right, named Shen Wei. And there is some sort of connection between the two of them. There are these strange artifacts that are like super powerful that are suddenly popping up. There is this entity known as the Soul Executing Emissary, who is basically in charge. Well, he's basically like almost a deity in a way, who has also got a connection to Zhao Yunlan. And so we just follow Zhao Yunlan and the members of his investigative team and see kind of how he and Shen Wei are connected, what's going on as far as like their past. I don't want to give too much. The synopsis, it's really hard to let you know what's going on without spoiling it, because there's a lot involved in this, but I did definitely enjoy it, and I'm really excited to continue with books 2 and 3 and see who the antagonist is, because I did call one of the like reveals in book 1, but I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the antagonist yet and how exactly things are going to wrap up going forward, so I'm really excited to continue this. And then the next book that I got from Books A Million is a pre-order. It is part of my favorite manga series of all time, and that is Volume 19 of the Heroic Legend of Arslan. This series is based on a light novel series by Yoshiki Tanaka, and it's being adapted into a manga by Hiromu Arakawa. So excited! The Heroic Legend of Arslan is, as I said, my favorite manga series ever. I love it so much, and this is the most recent release. So again, I'm just going to give you like a brief synopsis of the story without spoiling anything, since this is volume 19. But in this series, we follow Prince Arslan of Pars, which is a kingdom that is based somewhat on the kingdom of ancient Persia. And when he is 14, his kingdom is invaded by an opposing force who are using religion as an excuse to try to seize power over other countries. And Prince Arslan is forced to go on the run, accompanied by his knight Darian, who is one of my favorite characters. I love Darian so much. And they form this little ragtag group to try to take the kingdom back. And it's so wonderful. I love this series. Arslan is a precious being, and I love the found family, and I just love watching him come into his own, and I love it so much. And the conflict is so good in here because you get to see into the heads of the different antagonists who are involved. And now there's this like supernatural element that's coming into play. It's just so good. I am, however, not going to read this yet, as much as I want to. Volume 20 is coming out later this year, and I already have that on pre-order. So I'm going to wait and read these two together because manga are quite short and they are in picture format. So you get through them fairly quickly. I take a little longer, I think, than some people because I am very focused on looking at the art. But you do get through them fairly quickly, and I would really like to read volumes 19 and 20 together so that, you know, it feels like you're getting a bigger chunk of the story all at once. So that's my plan, but I'm still very excited to have this one. And then the final book that I got from Books A Million in July is actually a cookbook. So this one was on sale for 50% off one day for like one of the members sales. So I am a Books A Million member, which means that I get special discounts occasionally and I get free shipping on everything. And it's really, really nice. A nice little perk to have. And honestly, I order from Books A Million so often that just the shipping alone pays for the year's membership very quickly. But I was really excited to see this, and it is Creepy Kitchen, 60 terrorific recipes that'll possess your palate. So this is by Kim Kindlesberger and illustrated by Kitty Willow Wilson. And look at how cute this cover is. It's so cute. So if you don't know, Halloween is my favorite holiday of all time, aside from Christmas, because I do love Christmas. And we're rapidly approaching fall, which makes me so happy. And this book is just so cute. All of the recipes in it are fall or Halloween themed or otherwise creepy, because I think there are some like creepy Valentine's Day and like creepy Christmas ones in here. Yeah, there are. And each of them has like an illustration to go with it. Look at that. That's so cute. And I think that's really neat because a lot of cookbooks do photography, which is great. I love seeing the pictures of what it's supposed to look like so I can compare mine. But I also think that for this particular book, the illustration style really fits it. Because it just really plays on that like cute but creepy Halloween vibe, and I just love it. And I'm so excited to try some of these. Alright, and then I got one book from the Broken Binding this month, and that is Once There Were Heroes. This is the first book in A Time of Dragons, which is one of the series in the world of Verda. I think it's just called Verda, by Philip C. Cointrell. So I am not sure if this is the second series in that world or the third or where it falls chronologically. I mean, I do know that this is actually a prequel series. It takes place before the Echo Saga, which is the first series that he published. But I mean, as far as publication, I'm not sure how many series came out before this one in this world. But the Echo Saga is a series that I'm really excited to try. And I really could not resist. This is part of their Indie Press edition, I think is what it's called. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what it's called. But essentially, the Broken Binding are choosing certain indie series where they are going to always have them available for sale. And this was part of the second printing because I did like and awe about it for a bit before deciding to get this. But I'm so excited I did because it is just beautiful. It has a dragon on the edges, and then the top and bottom are this really pretty purple color to match the cover. And then the naked hardback also has dragons. It's so pretty. And it is signed by the author. And the end papers are this really pretty map. So I don't know a whole lot about Once There Were Dragons, except, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a prequel series to the Echo Saga, which I do plan on starting this year, and I really think that I'm going to like it, so I did want to get this. I know that it has dragon fantasy, dragon rider fantasy perhaps. I'm like hesitant to read the synopsis because I'm afraid that it's going to spoil something from the rest of this world, because when I do read worlds where authors have a bunch of interconnected series or books, I do like to read them in publication order. But, so I don't want to spoil anything, just in case. But I'm really excited to have this. It is absolutely beautiful, and you can never have too many Dragon Rider books, in my opinion. Next, I have a few books that I got from Crunchyroll. So the first one was actually a pre-order, and that is the 4th Black Butler art book by Yana Toboso. I love Black Butler. I have seen the anime, and I'm actually currently reading the manga. Well, currently, not like at this moment, but I've read through volume 10, and then I have one more arc to read to catch me up to the content I'm familiar with from the anime, and then I'll be in new content for me. And the art books that Yana Toboso creates are just absolutely gorgeous. They have really pretty ribbons that tie them together. And I do have the first 3. I have looked through the first 2, but I haven't looked through the 3rd one or this 4th one yet, because they do contain some of the arcs, like art from some of the arcs that I haven't read yet or seen. So I am going to wait until I catch up in order to look through books 3 and 4, but I am really excited to have this. It's beautiful. Black Butler follows CL Phantom Hive, who is 12. Yes, 12 years old. And when he becomes the Earl Phantom Hive after the horrific deaths of the rest of his family and his own kidnapping. And he shows back up after having been missing and assumed dead, accompanied by a mysterious butler named Sebastian Michaelis, who is actually a demon, though nobody but CL knows this. And Sebastian and CL have a deal that they've made where Sebastian will help CL to accomplish his goals. He will work as his butler, care for him, take care of him, help him to fulfill his role as the Earl Phantom Hive, which includes kind of policing like the underworld, so like the criminal classes and things in London. This does take place in Victorian England, while also serving as his butler, and in return, Sebastian will get CL's soul. So it has a really, really dark premise, and I've talked about this series before on my channel, but I am holding out hope that there is going to be a happy ending. And I love the characters, and I think in the manga especially you really get to see like the found family there, even amongst this really dark story that you're experiencing. I don't know. I just really, really like it, and I'm enjoying the manga even more than the anime, and these art books are just, they're so beautiful. So I was really excited to see this one come up for pre-order in English, because the only other one I have in English is the second art book. The first one is in Japanese, and the third one I think is in French, because I couldn't find them in English anywhere in hardcover for anywhere close to a reasonable price. So when this one popped up for pre-order, I jumped on it as soon as it did, because I wanted to make sure I got it in English. Okay, and then I was a little bit naughty because the rest of the books from Crunchyroll were actually from a sale that they had on Yen Press. So I have mentioned before, I am trying to be more selective about what I'm spending my money on as far as books go, but honestly, this sale, it was so good. And I really only got 2 new series, technically. Now, I'll explain what I mean. But the first two books that I got are from the same series, which is The Ephemeral Scenes of Setsuna's Journey. This is by Rokusyo and Usuasagi, and it's illustrated by Sime or Sime, and this is a light novel series. So there is a manga that is being created, adapted from these light novels, so if I like them, I'll be able to check out the manga as well. But I did get the first two light novels on the sale because this is a series that I'm really excited to try. It just sounds really sweet and cozy and like the kind of story that I really enjoy when I want something just fun and kind and calm to read, if that makes sense. But I'm only going to read the synopsis for the first one. So this is book 1, The Former 68th Hero and the Beast Folk Apprentice. And it says, a third chance at life. After being summoned to another world as the 68th hero in order to protect the world from monsters, Setsuna Sugimoto is abandoned because of his weak and sickly constitution and waits for his inevitable death. But when he meets Kyle, the former 23rd hero, he is given another chance at life and inherits Kyle's vast knowledge, power, and life force. Having finally gained the freedom to travel the world, Setsuna embarks on a journey as an adventurer, where he'll encounter all walks of life, meet new people, and say goodbye to others, each one bound to leave their mark on him and the world. It just sounds really sweet. And this is an isekai, meaning we have a character who's been transported from their world to another world. And so we're going to get to follow him just as he gets to experience life. And I think it sounds really, really cozy and delightful and wonderful, and I'm very excited to try it. So that's the first one. And then I also, as I said, got the second book in the series, which is The Former 68th Hero and the Dragon Maiden. And then the other new series that I got in this sale is Kunan The Sorcerer Can See. Just like with the first series, I did get the first two books. This is by Umikaze Minamino and illustrated by Laruha. So this is book 1, and again, I'm only going to read the synopsis for the first book. Kunan the Sorcerer has a dream. Kunan Gurion was born without sight and unsure of his purpose in life, but everything changes when he resolves to find a way to use magic to see. This is a feat no sorcerer has ever accomplished or even tried, and it won't be easy. Kunan's single-minded ambition leads him to quickly surpass his teacher, and with only a few basic spells, he can already sense color, produce useful items, and create a lifelike cat from water. Word of his skills and ingenuity soon reaches the castle, which earns him a rare chance to study under a powerful new mentor. But is Kunan's goal even attainable? So it just sounds really fun, and if you can't tell, I like series where we get to follow a character who is just trying to enjoy their life and live their life and do the best they can, and I just think stories like that can be very enjoyable to read, so I'm really excited to try this one. And then here is book 2, and I think the art is beautiful on these, so lovely. Okay, and then the next two books that I got from that Crunchyroll sale are actually part of a series that I have started buying, but I haven't started reading yet. And that is The Other World's Books Depend on the Bean Counter by Kazuki Iridori, and it is based on a light novel story by Yatsuki Wakatsu. So, I have the first two books, and I got books 3 and 4, and this is a manga. The light novel was actually, or at least the first light novel, was actually released in English recently, but it was out of stock, so I wasn't able to get that. But the reason I went ahead and got the third and fourth books to the series is because a YouTuber who I follow, her channel is called Kitten. Her name is Caitlin. She does a lot of manga content. She loves this series so much, and hearing her talk about it just makes me really excited to try it. And I just think it sounds like it's going to be fun, so I did, while they were on sale, go ahead and get these two. And that way I can read the first 4 books, or the first 4 volumes in the manga back to back whenever I start it. So this series is another isekai. We follow, what is his name? Kondo, who is an office worker who is isekai'd into this new world kind of unintentionally. He's trying to save this girl from being sucked into a portal and gets sucked in himself. And they're like, well, we can't send you back, so, you know, we'll help you live your life. What do you want to do? And he's like, I want to work. So he kind of takes over helping to fix the kingdom's finances, which are kind of in a terrible mess. And he ends up kind of getting involved with the magic that's going on, in that he's like trying to use it to help himself work better and more efficiently, is from what I understand of the synopsis and what I've heard Caitlin say. And then he ends up meeting this guy, who is the captain of the guard, or the knights, or something along those lines, named Aresh, who finds him in a very poor situation and decides to help him. And then a romance blossoms from there. And I have heard that there is maybe some more explicit content in this one, so I do think that it is for older readers. Yes, it says that it's rated for teen readers. But it just sounds so fun, and I like isekai stories when they're not really gross. If you are familiar with manga, you may know what I mean. But I do like isekai stories. I really like seeing characters having to navigate this new world and these new people that they've met. And I just think that this is going to be fun. So while volumes 3 and 4 were on sale, I did go ahead and grab them. And then the next 2 books that I got are actually a light novel and the manga adaptation. So I am actually not counting this as new to me, because I've actually seen the anime movie for this, and I've wanted to read the light novel and the manga for ages. And so seeing them on sale, I was so excited, and I went ahead and picked them both up. So this is Wolf Children Ame and Yuki by Mamoru Hosoda. So this is the light novel. And then this is the anime, or not anime, this is the manga adaptation, which is illustrated by Yu. And I think this is hilarious. Just the size discrepancy between the light novel and the manga is so funny. Also, look at Ame and Yuki. They're so cute. So, as I said, I've seen the movie for this. When Hana worked up the courage to speak to the mysterious loner in her college class, she never expected the encounter would blossom into true love, nor that he was secretly a wolf living in human form. Their relationship was far from ordinary, but she wouldn't have had it any other way. Her joy only grows with the births of Ame and Yuki, who have inherited their father's unique ability to transform. But life is full of both joy and hardship, and Hana is left to bring up her little wolves on her own. Raising human children is hard enough, but how will she handle their wild side too? In this novelization of his award-winning Wolf Children film, acclaimed director Mamoru Hosoda provides a deeper look at the emotional trials and triumphs of a very unique little family. Oh, so it was a film first. Okay. So see, then I'm going through them in the correct order. I'm really excited. I love this movie. It's so emotional and just really beautiful to watch. And just to see Hana, because it really does focus on her a lot and just the trials of motherhood, especially since her kids can turn into wolf cubs, which can be quite difficult. And then also later you get to see Ame and Yuki as they start to go to school and try to reconcile these differences that exist between them and the other kids that they know. And it's just so good. I love it so much. So I'm really excited to get to experience this story in these 2 new formats. Alright, so the next 2 books that I have here are both from Fox and Wit. I am subscribed to their monthly book subscription. And I do sometimes skip it because with my subscriptions, I do want to make sure that I'm spending money on a book that I am excited to get a special edition of. And I love that Fox and Wit, as Alcrite does, allows you to skip when you need to. So that's a wonderful service that they offer. But I did get 2 of their books this year that both came in last month. So the first one, let me see, does it tell me what month? Yes. So this one was actually their July book. This is Fallen Thorns by Harvey Oliver Baxter. And you can see the alternate dust jacket that they have, as well as the art on the naked hardcover, and then the end papers. And this book is signed by the author. A great death is in the air. Arlo is lost. He thought he had everything figured out. Go to university, fall in love, get a job. But life doesn't always work like that, and before he has a chance to figure it out, he dies. In the space of the night, Arlo is plunged into a world of blood and immortality and finds a group of people who swear to always have his back. Dying is never easy, and they promise him eternal safety. But something is after him, something no one could have ever predicted. He craves to figure out his purpose before he falls into something he can never come back from. So I think the author described this as like a dark academia, coming-of-age vampire story. Sounds really fun. So I'm excited to try it. I don't really know much about it. The synopsis is very short and very vague, but that is the first one. And Fox and Wit does send you a little something extra each time you get one of their monthly subscriptions, and with that one they sent me this cute little wooden bookmark. It's got these little teacups and books in a stack. It's very cute. And then the other one that I got from them last month is their June book, which is Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. And it has this beautiful map on the alternate dust jacket. I love cartography. I love old-timey maps, and you can see there are like sea creatures and things. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And this one, they had the original dust jacket underneath, so it didn't come with an alternate hardcover, which is fine because I think the original dust jacket is really cute. And it came with a signed book plate. Avra Helvachi, former field agent of the Arasti Ministry of Intelligence, has accidentally stolen the single most expensive secret in the world. And the only place to flee with a secret that big is the open sea. To find a buyer with deep enough pockets, Avra must ask for help from his on-again, off-again ex, the pirate captain Taveri Az-Hafar. They are far from happy to see him, but together they hatch a plan. Take the information to the isolated pirate republic of the Isles of Lost Souls. Fence it, profit. The only things in their way? A calculating new Arasti ambassador to the Isles of Lost Souls who's got his eyes on Avra's every move. Brother Julian, a beautiful, mysterious new member of the crew with secrets of his own and a frankly inconvenient vow of celibacy. The fact that they're sailing straight into sea serpent breeding season and almost certain doom. But if they can find a way to survive and sell the secret on the black market, they'll be as wealthy as kings. And, more important, they'll be legends. So it's going to be a seafaring adventure with pirates on the high seas. I am really excited for this. I didn't know much about it when I got it. I just knew that I had heard seafaring pirates, potential romance, and I was like, I'm there. So now I read the synopsis and I'm like, oh, so we've got like some political intrigue perhaps? I'm not sure. But I think that the artwork on the cover is beautiful, so I am glad that I got the Fox and Wit edition as opposed to just getting the standard. Okay, and then the next 4 books that I have are all from Illumicrate, and they are also all from the same series. So I did pre-order Illumicrate's special editions of the Love Light Farm series by B.K. Borison. Yeah. And I'm so excited. They're so pretty. So we have the first book, Love Light Farms. And I think the cover, like on the dust jacket, is the standard cover art. And it has these really pretty sprayed edges. But underneath the dust jacket, this was the main reason that I got these. It's so beautiful. Look at the naked hardcover. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And then the end papers. So we have the front end papers. It is signed, and then we have the back end papers. It's so pretty. Like, so, so, so beautiful. And I am just going to read the synopsis for the first one, although I believe that each of these are standalone romances set in the same world. However, I feel like they're probably going to have callbacks to the previous books, so I am just going to read the synopsis for the first one. A handsome, freckled data analyst, a messy, optimistic Christmas tree farm owner, a small town with the best hazelnut lattes on the East Coast. In an effort to save the Christmas tree farm she's loved since she was a child, Stella enters a contest with Insta-famous influencer Evelyn St. James. With the added publicity and the huge cash prize, she might just be able to save the farm from its financial woes. There's just one problem. To make the farm seem like a romantic destination for the holidays, she lied on the application and said that she owns Lovelight Farms with her boyfriend. Only, there is no boyfriend. Enter best friend Luca Peters. He just came home for some hot chocolate and somehow got a farm and a serious relationship in the process. Will their fake love affair save Lovelight Farms in time for Christmas? It sounds so cute. It sounds so cute. And I've heard so many people love this one. So that is the first one in the series, and as you can tell, it is very Christmas coded, Christmas themed, takes place in December. So I'm going to read this at Christmas time, and I'm very excited about it. Then we have the second book, In the Weeds. And again, I think this is the standard dust jacket art, but then we have the sprayed edges. The naked hardcover. Look at that, it's so beautiful. And then the front end papers. It is also signed, and can I just say that B.K. Borison went above and beyond by matching the markers for the signatures to the color schemes of the individual books. That's a really nice touch. And then the back end papers. And this one looks very summery, so probably gonna read it in the summer. Does it take place in the summer? Maybe. It looks summery, so probably gonna read that one next summer. Then we have the next one, which is Mixed Signals. We've got the sprayed edges. These are my favorite sprayed edges for this series. I love the fruits. It's so pretty. The naked hardcover. Oh my goodness. The front end papers, and I think the art style for these end papers is adorable. The signature and the back end papers. And that one definitely seems spring-esque to me. And then we have the fourth book, Business Casual, which definitely reminds me of fall. We have the sprayed edges. So I have a book for each season, apparently, a romance for each season. The naked hardback, this is probably my favorite of the naked hardback art. Oh my gosh, look at the pumpkin patch. I love it. I love it so much. The front end papers, the signature, and the back end papers. Oh, I forgot to show you too. Running Close to the Wind came with this cute little mood reader pen. So that was the goodie that came with the June book. Okay, so the last two books that I got this month both came from Pango, and these are actually books that I already own editions of. And so the reason that I got these is because an artist that I follow on Instagram, their handle is LL Starcaster LL, had a sale where their shop opened up and you could buy some of their prints and stickers and dust jackets. And so I bought the dust jackets for the Raven Cycle, and the Song of Achilles. And they're so pretty. I've loved this art for so long. I think they're actually the same artist who did the artwork for my All for the Game acrylic standee with Neil and Andrew that I got from Rekhyt. So I think that they did that art. I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly. But their art is so pretty. I love it so much. And so I did go on Pango and find some used paperbacks of all 4 books in the Raven Cycle and the Song of Achilles. Only 2 of them came in July, so I'll show you those 2, but I'm going to show you all of the dust jackets as well. And I did go ahead and put them on here. So we have the first book, The Raven Boys. And this is the beautiful alternate dust jacket art. It's so pretty, and it continues on to like the flaps. And it's just, it feels really nice too. Like, it feels like really nice quality. So I love it. I love the Raven Cycle. It is one of my favorite series of all time. We follow Blue Sargent, who is the only member in a family of psychics who is not psychic herself. All the other women who live with her are, including her mom, but she is not, although she does have the ability to enhance psychic abilities in those around her. And one day she meets our 4 boys. We have Noah, Ronan, Gainsey, and Adam. And these 4 boys go to a prestigious school called Agliombi Academy, where their mascot is the Raven, so the students there are known as the Raven Boys. And she becomes friends with them and starts to help them on their quest to find a dead Welsh king. It's so good. It takes place in the South, so you really get those like Southern vibes. You have prep school, and then you also just have like being in the mountains in the wilderness. And then it's also mixed with this like magical Welsh experience. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's so odd and whimsical and wonderful. And so that's the first book, with the beautiful dust jacket by LL Starcaster LL. And then the second book didn't come in July, unfortunately, but here is the dust jacket art for the Dream Thieves. And then the last book that I got, and then I'll show you the other 2 just dust jackets, is Blue Lily, Lily Blue, which is the 3rd book in the series. And these are just the standard US paperbacks, which I do already have copies of. Those are the editions that I read. So I just got, like I said, used copies on Pango to put the pretty dust jackets on. And then The Raven King, which is the 4th and final book in the main series, also has not come in yet, but there is the dust jacket. And finally, the dust jacket for The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which also has not come in yet, but it's so pretty. I'm very excited to get these on those books once they arrive. And then they also sent me this little card with a QR code with their business, I'm assuming, information on there. So if you're interested in their art, please do check them out or follow them on Instagram. This is, as I said, their handle. Alright, so that is all of the books that I got during the month of July. It is quite a number, but some of them I've already read either in the past or since I got them, and I'm just very excited for each and every one of these. Have you guys gotten any books that you're excited for? I would love to hear about it in the comments, or if you have read any of these and you would like to maybe hype me up for them. Let me know which ones I should read, maybe sooner rather than later. Just please keep all of your comments spoiler-free. Or if you are now interested in any of these that you've seen, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you would like to leave an emoji for today, why don't we do a raven for those beautiful raven dust jackets, or a crow. I'm not sure what corvids are available on the emojis, but pick the corvid of your choice. But in honor of those beautiful dust jackets that I got. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you are having a wonderful day or a wonderful night wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye! Do you have Monkey? Do you? Oh, do you have Monkey? Hi? Hi?